And welcome to The Noise, a brand new weekly show on RT. From the old chestnut immigration to should smokers pay for operations on the NHS?
We will be discussing, dissecting and debating everyday human interest and political stories that affect the way we live here in the UK. So relax, we can leave Trump out of this.
I will be joined by RT's sausage in a suit, Martin Andrews, and he'll be gallivanting around the country. And back here in studio each week, we'll have a selection of famous faces. The odd politician, overpaid journalist, feckless celebrities who haven't been booked by anyone else, and anyone actually with something to say.
We promise to make lots of noise and we'll be telling it as it is. So let's hear from you at home. We'll tackle your biggest stories. And no, the Russians haven't told us what to say, what angle to have. And yes, our bank accounts are still open.
So forget badly rated TV shows like Snooze Night, The Wrong Stuff, Moose Women and This Moaning. This is a show for you. Oh, and I'm Katie Hopkins.
And I'm Martin Andrews.
Welcome to The Noise. Our first story on The Noise is about keeping fit. And no, I'm not going to go on about chubbers or about when I put on 3 stone and lost it again to prove a point. Cue the graphics, boys.
I do go to the gym.
So when it comes to exercise in the UK, a study by the British Heart Foundation found out about 5 million adults spend more than 8 hours a day sitting down.
44% admit to not taking part in any movement whatsoever, meaning that British fitness levels are among the worst in Europe, and half the country are turning into sausages.
Now, for some members of the public, it's not just an issue of struggling to keep fit. The subject of exercise is much harder for those with cultural or religious barriers. So with that in mind, the first gym specifically for Muslim women is set to open in the UK.
Now, we already have separate male and female swimming sessions, so is the next step straight or gay gyms, Catholic or Protestant gyms? Just how far can we go to please people? Is this really freedom of choice or a step back into the dark ages?
The Noise went to Cardiff to find out.
Good luck with that.
Sweating it out in the gym. While many enjoy exercise, millions of other Brits struggle to keep fit. But for those with moral and religious obligations, just because you want to keep fit doesn't mean you necessarily can.
I've started going to the gym, but then obviously in our local gyms it's only Thursdays, that are the ladies only, so it's only once a week, but I prefer to go near enough nearly every day. But I do go, but I have to cover up and it's quite difficult. I don't stay for long.
According to Sport England, only 16% of Muslim women take part in any kind of sporting activity or exercise in comparison to the 30% of the rest of the women here in the UK. Also, 5 years ago, the figures fell to as low as 12%, meaning that within the Muslim community, women are certainly enjoying more sport, gym and exercise.
And while it may be on the rise, some Muslim women say going to a gym with men without being covered up would make them uncomfortable.
They don't want to go into a mixed gym, so they just, maybe to try and do a few workouts at home.
But now they won't have to. A new gym in Cardiff will cater for Muslim women as well as those of other religions. There won't be any loud music here, and more importantly for the clientele, no men. It will also feature various fitness machines and classes and a prayer room.
There are skeptics. All I say to them is that we're a commercial gym. We're targeting a certain market segment, which is for Muslim women, but it's also ladies only. Ultimately, it's about freedom of choice, and in this day and age, that's a wonderful thing.
But not everyone's convinced it is.
If you've got special measures put in place that will favour any community over another, then you've got a major problem. And it only feeds into the problem we already have. So in order to break that down, we have to break down the barriers. You're never going to break down barriers while there is any kind of special requirement put in. And I, for one, don't want to see anywhere where there is put it this way, we wouldn't have something that was only available to Catholics and not Protestants. It's the same thing.
Others, though, say it's not about segregation, but about making sure everyone can work out.
It's going to get more women exercising, and I think some people worry that it's segregating Muslims because it's encouraging Muslim women to exercise.
It is a choice you give to the people, just like you get halal food or non-halal food, or you're vegetarian or non-vegetarian, kosher or non-kosher. So it's the facility you give, it's the provision of service, And obviously, when it is a commercial venture, nobody would go into it if it is not profitable.
Mohammed will have to wait and see whether this is the venture capital he was hoping for when he finally opens the facility in the summer. But until then, the complaints of segregation may have to take a back seat if it helps those uncomfortable in traditional gyms hit the treadmill.
So there are now over 3 million Muslims living in the UK, a number that has just doubled in over a decade, with rising numbers, issues of cross-cultural differences and social conformity, and everything from sports to education crop up time and time again.
But don't worry, you're not going to hear me ramble on and on like normal. I'm joined by 2 guests here in the studio who will help me, I'm told. One of them is Ayo Akinwolere. Hello, good to meet you. And the lovely Carol Malone. Ayo, what do you think about this issue? Should Muslim women have their own space to exercise in?
I genuinely think this is purely about exercise. Look, for me, there are low numbers of Muslim women taking up exercise anyway. There are actually low numbers of women, period, taking up exercise. And for me, in a safe space where you're able to be supported, yes, why not? Enjoy your exercise and, you know, bring down those obesity levels in Britain.
Carol, is this a sporting issue or about, you know, religion and
I
division?
think, you know, Ayo talks about them exercising in a safe space. Why do they not want to exercise in a safe place with other women of other religions? Because these girls, there was 200 of them, were asked if they wanted to have to women-only gyms. No, they didn't want that. I get why they don't want to exercise in a mixed gym, but they didn't want to go in a women-only gym. They wanted to just be working out with their own people. Now, you know, from where I'm sitting, that's a little bit insulting to me, because what am I going to do to them? They have a safe space with me. They have a safe space with all other women. And actually, you know, if that was a Christian gym, there's no such thing, obviously. If it was the Jewish gym, there would be uproar if
But
they were
that's not
saying
really
we
any
didn't.
comparison, is it, really?
Well, it is. Why is it no comparison? Just because they wear different clothes? Why is that? You know, what is not comfortable about working out with another woman in the same room? Because she's a different religion. I don't understand it.
The thing for me is, look, I ran a project last year and we were looking at trying to get more people swimming and stuff, and it's really fascinating because it is about the environment. You should be able to choose where or where you don't want to work out. I mean, this isn't, you know, I think we're missing the point here. The point.
Let's ask Miss Gemma Hock here. You go to the gym all the time like crazy. Would you work out next to it? You know, what do you think?
Well, for me, I don't see why religion comes into going to the gym at all. You're going to the gym because you're a chubber, you ate too many donuts, you shoved half the fridge in your face, get down the gym. I don't think women should be saying, oh, yeah, but I need to wear this.
But the fact that they're working out completely at all is a good thing.
Well, you know, I was talking about swimming, and you know, last year there was an issue with a swimming pool in Luton where only Muslims are allowed to swim on a Friday.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Exactly the same thing happens in Marlin.
Let me tell you what's wrong. Let me tell you what's wrong with that. What's wrong with that is that is a council-run institution, and it's paid for by everyone in that area. But everyone in that area is told on a Friday that they can't swim because Muslim men and Muslim women are. And let me just say one more thing. Muslim men are allowed to swim in the big pool, and Muslim women are consigned to the little baby pool. That, to me, is discrimination and segregation and everything all rolled into one.
You know what? I mean,
it's not too good.
I mean, let's face it. What we're talking about here is also an isolated incident.
Do you need
It's not as if this is a massive epidemic. It's not as if this is a massive epidemic.
Katie, go.
This gym is being built with a prayer room in it, or when it's being used by Muslim people.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with having
right? They have a right. It's 2016 and it's the UK.
If you're going to exercise, exercise.
I think we're forgetting there's actually common sense.
Exactly. Absolutely.
You do not need to pray when you're going to the gym.
I think you have the right to do whatever you want to exercise where and when.
And that prayer room will actually put off non-Muslim women from going there.
Yeah, I don't want to be there.
This is also open. This is also open to women of all denominations.
He's pointed at me and said you're bigoted and crazy.
And there, I think Martin could do with going to the gym. He is.
Well, that's a whole different issue, Martin.
More importantly,
and I would work out with whoever.
Yes, exactly.
And you'd probably use the prayer room as well.
They don't want you to.
This is a cultural exchange.
At the end of the day, it's about fitness. It's about keeping fit and being healthy and making sure the NHS don't spend billions of pounds on obesity.
Exactly. In the long run, this is what we're looking at. Economically, in the long run, this is what we're looking at. You know, I'm from Birmingham, and we have got huge levels.
I'm sorry for you.
Thank you very much. It's
I
a
like
lovely
Birmingham.
region. Most diverse region in the country. Multicultural.
Bullring.
I don't like
multicultural.
You don't sound like you're from Birmingham.
I don't sound like I'm from Liverpool.
But what's interesting about it is that we've got high levels of diabetes amongst Asian communities, and actually, and the reality is We are here teaching
Not a
Muslim
fried
women
chicken.
to have a healthy lifestyle and actually possibly saving the NHS money
Absolutely.
in the long
It's
run.
saving them billions because-
But they only want to get healthy as long as they're
Reducing
exercising with
costs
other
is not
Muslims.
saving
And that,
money.
I'm afraid, is segregation.
Different side of the balance sheet.
Britain is not about segregation. We should not be segregating men or women, and we certainly shouldn't be segregating women by
Carol,
religion.
thank you very much indeed for your opinion. I thank you. We're going to go out to the streets now. We've had enough of what we've been rabbiting on about here in the studio, especially him. And Victoria Derbyshire said she'll get jealous if we're too good at this. So Martin went in his casual gear. I think you're going to love it.
I like
and
this-
ask
this
members
jacket.
of the public what they think
Yes.
about the opening of a Muslim female-only gym.
Take a look. Thanks, Katie. So we are here on the streets of Cardiff asking people what they think about the Muslim gym situation. Is it their cultural right to exercise in private, or does it segregate and separate society? Let's find out. So what do you think about the Muslim gyms in Cardiff?
If it's going to be an environment where they're more comfortable to be around other Islamic women and feel more at ease, then why not, you know?
I don't think we should segregate. I think there are enough issues with racial problems that I think if we start allowing all the different factions to go off and do their own thing, then we're just going to make it worse. So I would have thought the idea should be to try to bring people together.
If it's being opened by someone in the Muslim community, then at the end of the day, they have the right to do what they want. I guess it's a tough issue because it kind of brings a segregation issue into things.
I personally think it segregates society. I don't see why people can't exercise together personally, but that's my personal view.
They can have their own gym if some people won't go, share or mix with other people. So they can have their own gym, fine, no problem.
There are obviously issues that that our country faces. At the end of the day, I couldn't comment either way, positive or negative. I just think maybe that it's good that we're having these sort of conversations and that we can discuss these sort of issues right now. And let's see what comes of it.
Nice hat. So a real mixed bag there. It's a real story that does split people there, doesn't it?
It is, although that guy there, that last guy, was hopeless. I don't know why you
You're
spoke
allowed to
him.
say it's positive and negative.
He had no opinion whatsoever. I'm thinking about another example, actually, when we think about these gyms. What about the Christian bakers that were told in the court they had to make a cake for a couple that were promoting, I think it was a lesbian gay cause?
So it's a total contradiction. The Equalities Commission in Northern Ireland said to them that they were told off.
They refused to bake the cake.
They refused to bake the cake in support of gay marriage. And what they were told was that the Christian faith was not the only one with strong values. And so they had to, they went to the High Court.
You weren't allowed to protect your values.
So in that case, why is a female-only Muslim gym allowed when these guys, their values don't count, but actually Islam's values do?
What do you think? Gay cake, yes or no?
I'll have a gay cake any day. I'll eat anything. But look, at the end of the day, I think
They should have had
Can you compare it, though?
That's what I'm trying to say. We are completely missing the point here.
No, we're not.
Yeah, look, that yes, of course, I completely understand that. And yes, we should be able to worship and be able to be any religion we want to. That's not a problem. But what we're talking about here is people's health. We're talking about people's health, people's right to exercise.
But what
in
if
a safe space.
if I go to that gym and I thought, right, my health, people's health, I'm going to go and exercise. I can't get in because I haven't got the right headscarf, the right God,
but actually, this gym says it's also
the whole point is
open.
you're taking it off.
It's also open to every other type of woman. It's whether or not you want to take yourself there.
Carry on.
This is whether or not you actually want to take yourself there.
These women have already said they will not feel comfortable with people like me there. So why should I want to go somewhere where I'm not going to feel welcome or comfortable?
Let me flip this around. Let's flip this around post-Brexit. The rise of race-related incidents.
Can I stop?
Carol.
He can't say it because there hasn't been.
It's called the noise, but let him speak.
But hold on. But also, it also boils down to an identity. You know, look, as a foreigner or an immigrant to Britain, my parents came in 1990, and I feel very British. But, you know, initially, we moved into this area. The first thing we had, it was a lower-income area, National Front on our doorstep. So you're already on the back foot. But these stories, look, for me, it's about safety. And look, as I said to you before...
I don't think there's a safety issue at all, actually. I don't think anyone is going to feel frightened.
Why do you not think that?
Why? Because I don't think I'm really that intimidating as a woman. Do you find me that intimidating, Martin? Are you scared? But also, this whole idea that race hate rose after Brexit was bonkers. Those stats were wrong, weren't they, Carol?
Because I actually wanted to correct this.
Right.
That what's happened is the reporting of race crime has risen simply because there was a website made available for people to report.
So why does that make that? Bring that all the way back to the Muslim gym? Why does that race hate crime affect Muslim?
Let me tell you why. Because I think the guy who's owning this gym is being racist. Because what he's saying is this is for Muslim women, and because there's a prayer room, and because Muslim women have said they don't want to work out with the likes of me or Katie, that is racist. And I think it's discriminatory.
So we're going to get a different view on this right now. We are going to cut to one of the most interesting men in Britain, David Cameron.
Let's see what he has to say on multiculturalism in society.
Under the doctrine of state multiculturalism, we've encouraged different cultures to live separate lives apart from each other and apart from the mainstream. We failed to provide a vision of society to which they feel they want to belong. We've even tolerated these segregated communities behaving in ways that run completely counter to our values.
So that was David Cameron talking there. Do you think we have integrated as a society? Do we now live in a multicultural Britain, or are we a nation of ghettos?
I think multiculturalism has totally failed, and I think there is segregation in society, but I don't think it's the fault of the British people. You know, Muslims have made it clear they want to be segregated from us. Trevor Phillips said...
Not everybody.
No, okay, let me finish. Trevor Phillips said recently, Muslims are now a nation within a nation. They want to live their lives separately in many ways apart from us. They don't like our values, they're not keen on our culture, many of them. So yes, they want to be a part of us. It's not our fault.
I would go to Trevor Phillips.
Has multiculturalism failed?
Look, I think fundamentally the issues we have in Britain, especially with upper government, is that you don't actually understand what's happening on the lower level of society. And look, Trevor Phillips, yes, you are right, he said that, but also Trevor Phillips brought out a documentary on Channel 4 stating that we do naturally segregate ourselves. Multiculturalism, I mean, look...
let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So there's a stat that says 1 in 5 Muslims have never been into a house of a regular British person or a Christian person, non-Muslim house. What do you think about that?
Well, then I can flip that question back to you and say how many...
That's where you live, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And how many English or British people have been to a Muslim household? I mean...
It doesn't depend where you live. It depends who you mix with.
I've never crossed the threshold.
But also, you know...
Well, I have.
It also depends on what age group you're talking about. You know, in any sort of culture, you've got the traditionalists and you've got the people that might step out. You know, do we need to use common sense when we're talking right now?
Guys, our time is finished. That's it.
Oh, no!
I know.
So much more.
It should be an hour-long programme instead. There you go. Well, that's it. The first part of The Noise is over. If you have any stories you'd like us to check out, expose or debate, then email the team here on The Noise at rttv.co.uk.
You can also check out our Facebook account, The Noise RT, and our Twitter account with the same name, where you can tell us how fabulous we all are, well, apart from Martin, obviously, and how it's the best new TV show ever. Next up, after the break, we should be talking about homeless issues, as the number of kids on the streets has allegedly risen by nearly 60% since my lovely Conservative Party came into power. So join me after the annoying adverts, Martin, you are more annoying than the adverts, actually, as it goes. And let's make some more noise. Cue the commercials.
Yeah, go. See you soon.